crackle, and pop. It's Monday Club! What's up, everybody? This week we decompressed from a convention in Baltimore. We settled a debate once and for all about whose city is more badass. I tell a story about the time Batman got kicked in the balls.
Ouch.
And we learn this week's teachable moment. Let's do it!
What's up, Monday Clubbers?
What's up, Monday Clubbers?
How you doing,
oh my
Gus?
God, Pete, what's up, man?
Not much,
it is
man.
so good to see you, man.
You too. Happy Monday.
Oh, happy Monday to you too, my friend. Dude, we had such a crazy week last week.
We did.
Like,
We were across the street from each other and didn't even know it.
yeah, that's how crazy it was. It was so crazy that we literally ended up at separate hotels across from each other and didn't even know it. We were like texting each other back and forth till like midnight. Didn't even know it until, midnight, and you were like, "Hey, where are you?" I think I can see your car.
I went to the show notes of this episode, and you said you were in like Baltimore still, and I was like, wait a second, is he still in Baltimore? And that's why I texted you. Are you still in Baltimore? And you were. It was crazy,
dude. Yeah. So here's the thing. We're in Baltimore so much. I quite literally got a storage unit in Baltimore to leave some of our show there.
That's weird. You should just buy a house.
I think about
Maybe
it
a
all
little
the time.
condo,
Like,
man.
Yeah,
Dude, then we
Oh my
wouldn't
God,
have to
that'd
be in
amazing.
the La Quinta. Although the La Quinta's nice.
It really isn't that bad. It's also right next to the Fast Park, which helps me get to the airport, which is kind of nice. Dude, what are you drinking?
We have to cheers. Monday Club
we do.
cheers of the week.
First of all, what are you drinking? What are you drinking?
I am drinking whiskey. I'm drinking Bullet Bourbon Rye Whiskey.
Oh, that sounds delicious. I too am drinking whiskey.
What?
My whiskey is made from a friend of mine has a whiskey distillery, which is so dangerous for me. Dude, next time you come to Austin, I will take you there. It's amazing. They have one of the largest whiskey stills in Texas, and it's insane. Anyway, this is Andalusia whiskey. Shout out to Andalusia.
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 All right, and
Yeah,
since we're Skyping, we can't actually cheers. I'm going to cheers my microphone for you and clink.
All right, clink. One. There it is.
Cheers,
All right, buddy.
man.
Cheers.
That's awesome. I didn't know. Cheers. But guess what we're cheersing to today?
What are we cheersing to?
We're cheersing to science.
Science?
Science is amazing. Because I read this article on The Independent. I have no clue. It's online somewhere. Going to the pub, this is the headline, going to the pub together keeps male friendship strong, suggests scientists. So next time you get shit about being an alcoholic with your friends, science. It's good for you. It's good for you.
Dude, I believe that too. Because I'll tell you what, most of our experiences together have been out at a bar. And so it only leads to good things.
But it is interesting. It kind of talks about the difference between women and men. And women can maintain friendships no problem just by talking over the phone. And men, they don't do that so
and
much.
only need alcohol.
Okay, look, it's more of the bonding physical experience of being next to each other and hanging out. We just I don't know, right? Does that how often do you chat with your buddies hours on the phone?
Never. Honest to God, never.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why Monday Club is so important to me. I almost never take time to do it. And also, most of my friends are traveling performers, and so we don't get to hang out at pubs unless we happen to run into each other at in different cities. So yeah, man, I totally get that. That bonding experience is important for men, and now it's backed up by science, so it can't be wrong.
Nope, not until the next scientific discovery that we've been hurting ourselves by doing this the whole time. I hate how that happens. On Facebook, you see science says this, and you read the article, and it's from a legit magazine, and then next, science says opposite, and you're, science, make up your mind.
Dude, that happens all the time. Coffee is good for you one week, and then coffee's bad for you next week. And then having a glass of wine is good for you one week, and then having a glass of wine, not so good for you next week, you know?
Yeah, it's so weird. But I guess that's what science is, being able to change your mind, right? When new evidence presents itself.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting all serious.
It's okay, man. It's science. We can be serious about science. So with the speaking of science, I ran into so my wife and I were out on a date 2-3 days ago, and we were at this really nice Thai food place, right? And we were having she was listening to some other podcast about gene splicing, and so she's telling me about gene splicing and the dangers of gene splicing and what it means to be human, and we're getting into this deep philosophical discussion about it, right? And when we get to the spot where we're talking about, well, what about when humans expand and we're out in space and we're doing, you know, we're going to different planets and we're running into aliens, right? This guy leans over and says, I'm sorry to interrupt your conversation, but I couldn't help but overhear it. It sounds like you guys are having an amazing conversation. You got 2 things wrong.
He's very...
Okay. I mean, literally, he leans in from another table to tell us this.
Eavesdropping to correct your conversation.
Right. And he says, you got 2 things wrong. Thing number 1 you got wrong. You're talking about astronomy, but what you need to be talking about is astrology, because astrology predicts all of this stuff through the future.
I see where this is going.
And I said, okay. And then he said, the second thing you got wrong is that you're talking about planets, but the Earth is flat. So you won't have to worry about those kind of things.
Wait a second.
He was a flat
Wait
earther.
a second.
He was a real, honest to God, believed the Earth was fucking flat earther.
Dude, I thought they died out like hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Like
he specifically
was he joking? Was he like trying to be ironic or weird or anything?
No, sir. He was sitting there and he was like, the greatest lie has been told since Galileo's time, and the world is flat. You've been led to believe a lie.
Seriously?
And kept talking about it. I swear to you this, I'm not making this up. I have never in my life been lectured to by someone from a different table that was talking to me about the Earth being flat. And quite literally, I sat there just blinking at the guy. I thought.
What do you say to that? Like,
right?
Like, how do you like? It's just I don't even like. My brain is crumbling in my head right now. I don't know. What do you say to someone? Like, what? Take a look at the pictures from the moon, from the satellites. Orbits.
Right.
Why don't you walk east and see where you end up in like a million days?
The worst part is, dude, this guy was from France. He was from France. So
they're supposed to be smart over there.
Well, no, it's like on your trip over here from France, did you not... No, did you not notice this was a really long trip? You know, when you got up to the top of the apex of your flight at 37,000 feet, did you not look down and be like, "Well, the horizon seems to be curving in a weird way. I wonder what that could possibly be."
Did you were you of the mind to ask him for any proof? Were you like, "That's interesting"? Did you play him like, "That's really interesting, man. What is the proof that I need to hear that will convince me that we're flat?"
Had I been on any other situation than I've been on the road for like a month now, right? So had I been in any other situation than on my one date with my wife before I go back out on the road, I would have engaged this man and made him cry, you know? but she was looking at me from across the table and she was just like shaking her head.
Don't do it.
Just let it go, man.
You got
just let it
don't
go.
do it. Don't spoil our night, guys. Don't spoil it, man. We're having a good time.
I mean,
oh man,
have you? I genuinely didn't know that flat earthers still existed. And I posted that on my Facebook, and I got so many people commenting with, just show them this article, or show them this picture from space, or show them all of this stuff. And I kind of wanted to say, have a title that said, "The Earth is flat, # fake news."
That's weird, man. I don't even know what to say to that anymore. Like, show them a picture. That's crazy.
It's what's infuriating about it is, going back to science, like, what's infuriating about it is that, people work so hard to move humanity forward. The SpaceX program is happening right now. Like, SpaceX is going to send 2 people to the moon and back. That's
really
amazing.
That's
right?
awesome.
Yeah. Elon Musk just announced that he's going to do send 2 people on a slingshot around the moon and back to Earth. That's so incredible.
Cool. Yeah. But I have a huge crush on Elon Musk. Like, man crush.
Oh my God, dude, man crush too. I'll tell you what, he can
cheers
have.
To Elon.
I'll pour him a glass. Cheers to Elon and science. But yeah, man, we work so hard to improve technology and to improve science and to improve the human understanding, and then all of a sudden to have people who just seem to say, "Screw it, I'm going to make my own shit
This
up,"
is the perfect example.
Yeah,
this is the perfect example of why I don't engage people in certain topics on Facebook, politics. Because once you have your mind made up, people don't. Once you have your mind made up, they never change their mind. Once they decide on something, the whole rest of the options out there that. Any other option except their thought is correct, and they just will not take any evidence to that will prove them wrong, because they're so stuck on their own thing. They won't ever be objective about their opinion.
It's so funny. Shannon afterwards said, look, everyone has their right to their own opinion, right? It's a free country. You can believe whatever you want to. Which is true. I want to say that for the record.
Doesn't make it right.
It is true. That's exactly right. 1, it doesn't make it right. And 2, there are some opinions that you can have that are dangerous because, I can believe in a flying spaghetti monster.
Oh, good
but
book.
If I teach other people that a flying spaghetti monster is real, but I'm not helping anybody.
Yes, but if you think it's real, our instinct is to spread that truth, right? Like, we want other people to think the truth. If we think what we think is true, then we want everyone else to think that, because everyone else is wrong, and we just want everybody to be thinking the truth. And that's, dude, that's a religion conversation right there.
Right. That's episode 3. Yeah. Gus and Pete tackle religion. All right.
Before we get too down this rabbit hole, man, I want to thank you guys. You're listening to us right now. Thank you for listening. And check us out online. We have social media happening. MondayClubPodcast.com. That's a website, not social media. Facebook.com/MondayClubPodcast. Twitter @MondayClubPod. Instagram @MondayClubPodcast. Email. You can talk directly to us. Ask questions. You have any cool videos you want to share that you want us to talk about, mondayclubpodcast@gmail.com. So also, when this gets on iTunes, make sure you rate us and review us on iTunes, preferably a 5-star. Obviously, if not, just if you're not going to rate us 5 stars, just don't.
You got one choice.
Because you're going to hurt my self-esteem.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Pete is fragile. He's on the edge right now, and he needs all the affirmation that he can get. So, come hang out with us in the pub. Be our friend. We'll support you in science.
Yeah,
we appreciate the 5-star rating.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff planned too. Live shows in the future, and YouTube. We have a YouTube channel too, by the way. Did you know that, Gus?
Yeah.
We'll do live stuff online and in person in the future. We got tons of ideas and fun things planned. This is just the beginning.
Dude, I'm so excited about some of these live shows that we have coming up. I want to just go ahead and throw it down right now that I plan on giving stuff away at these shows.
Really?
I'm a game show host, man.
Shit,
That's what we do. Yeah. We can't do anything without giving
Dude,
free stuff
we need
away.
a Monday Club like trivia or game show or something like that. We play.
Agreed.
All right. Done. All right. This is how easy it is to convince Gus to do things that I want. Gus, let's do this. Okay.
Yeah, it's like you got Jedi mind tricks, man.
These are the trivia questions you're looking for.
Oh, shit. Hey, so I'm also excited. I'm excited to hear from people who subscribe to the podcast. I want to hear your questions, or if you have any questions for us that you would like us to debate. I think Pete and I would definitely be down to have a head-to-head battle and debate.
Oh shit!
Your question.
Really? Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You would take one side, I would take the other. We would just battle it out.
What if we?
And then
what if we both agree on the subject? Do we have to? One of us
Doesn't matter.
has to play a devil's advocate, quote unquote.
Yeah, I would. I will always play the devil's advocate. I got that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'll
what if
still
I
kick
want
your
that,
ass,
man?
so.
I want that. Man, you can't have the devil's advocate all the time.
No, you can have it.
Oh shit! I
God,
thought this was going to be
you're
our.
so good at convincing me. How do you do that?
I thought this was going to be our first on-air fight. It was going to be a moment.
No. Although, man, this whiskey's good.
Oh, I know. Oh man, this is good.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
Last time we were drinking together was at a conference in Baltimore. And so we were in Baltimore for a few days trying to book shows. And we went out and we had an unbelievable game of quarters in Gus's hotel room. And for those of you who don't know, who've not played Gus in quarters, Gus sucks in quarters. He cannot get the quarter in the cup. It's just, I don't know. He's got... And so that night, it was this girl who was just like, she was a savant of quarters. And like, it was like
she was a hustler.
Yeah.
I've never been hustled at quarters, but she said that she had never played quarters before, and she goes, I would say that without too much exaggeration, 60% of the time that it was her turn, she made it. Would you say that's about fair?
I would even say 70%. I would go higher. I would say
Really?
70, yeah.
Yeah, it was insane.
Somewhere between 60 and 70.
It took me an hour to get my first quarter in the cup, and by that time, no one cared anymore.
But
hey, so speaking of which, the way we played, we had, I think, $8 in change that I totally lost in that hotel room. Like the maid's vacuum cleaner must just get full of quarters right now. But we had all these quarters. We had a cup in the middle. Everybody's sitting around this small end table.
5 people in one cup?
Say what?
1 cup and 5 people?
1 cup and 5 people. That's another YouTube video. So everybody had a turn, and if you got it in the first time, you got to assign one person a drink. If you got it in a second time, everyone else had to take a drink. And if you got it in a third time, you got to make a rule. Yeah, making a rule is your favorite.
Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and tell them what your favorite couple of rules from this game of quarters was?
Well, we kind of leaned back on some classic rules. The little green man rule. So every time you have to take a drink, you have to flick or remove the little imaginary little green man off your drink before you drink. Otherwise, you eat him, and then you have to drink again on accident. So unless you like little green men, then you probably want to remove this little green man.
That sounds like the worst Tinder profile ever. I like little green men.
What is that? That's a leprechaun, then. So they like short Irish guys. No?
Sure.
All right, cool. And then we did the classic, the thumb rule. And then, wait, there was another one. What was there was one more that was...
Oh, we did categories.
Oh, categories. Oh,
Yeah.
and I had the shimmy rule. Every time you take a drink, you had to shake your booty. That was fun.
Oh my! I gotta say, I of all the rules, the shimmy rule was the one I was least excited about until it started going around, because I got watching everybody do a duck butt shimmy before they took a drink was pretty great.
And
oh,
that's how I envision
dude,
things.
I just remembered one of my personal favorite drinking game rules.
All right, lay it on me.
All right, so next time we play a drinking game, the rule that I create is you can't say drink, drank, or drunk.
Oh, God.
Right?
So every time you have to make somebody drink, you have to come up with a different way.
Yeah, you can't say those words. Those words are
Sip.
off the table, or
Sip.
you have to consume.
Sip! You must sip right now.
Consume your beverage, sir. Consume.
Pour into your mouth.
Enjoy your libation.
Suck your liquid.
That's by the end of the night. That's what it devolves into. You. Hey, I want to hear from you. I want to hear your favorite drinking game. And your favorite rules for a drinking game. Send those to us. We might actually play those on air. That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. I've always been a big fan of the card game. Bullshit. No. What's the one with the president? Asshole. Yeah. That one's. Yeah, it's a classic. But there's a reason why it's a classic. It's a fun game. Yeah. Everyone knows it.
Do you know that you and I played Asshole with Danny Garcia and Rudy Kobe?
Oh my God, that was in Vegas. Which
That's
is
a
the
real
story we told last week on Monday Club. But we didn't tell about this game of Asshole.
No, that's a pretty epic group of people to be playing Asshole with.
That was pretty awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah.
What else did we do in Baltimore, man? What else?
Oh, we went to an escape room. I went to an escape room for the first time in my entire life. And I gotta say, the one in Baltimore that we went to, we'll look it up, because they deserve a definite shout out.
Star City? No. What is Baltimore known as? The city?
That city.
Look, I'm looking it up now. Can you hear my fingers typing?
Good.
I got Google.
No, good for you. No,
Charm City Clue Room.
You're the man. Charm City Clue Room. We did the Spy Room. There were eight of us? There were eight of us.
7.
8. Nope.
7.
There were 8.
7.
Nope. 8.
All right, name
we
them.
got everybody there.
All right, how much you want to make a bet? 7.
I bet you that you finish your drink.
All right, ditto. So
all right.
If I'm right,
all right, done.
All right. So me, 1.
Yep.
You.
That's 2.
James.
Yep.
David. Tonya.
Yep.
Leanne.
Maggie.
Maggie.
Daniel Martin.
Oh, fuck.
Uh-oh. How many fingers do I have? I don't understand how this machine works.
How much would you say I've got left in my glass, Gus?
I would say that's about a fourth full of just nothing but whiskey.
Well, thank you for this opportunity to finish my libation, Gus. I appreciate it.
Consume your beverage, sir.
All right, here we go. You know what I need. There we go. Whew, that's a big gulp.
Yeah, buddy, yeah.
Whew, that was a standing ovation if you did not notice.
What you can't see is that Pete has gotten really, really warm, and you can tell that he's like all he wants to do is take off his hoodie.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Wow. All right, I'm going to get a little funnier now.
I got you, buddy. I got you.
Thanks,
so anyway, we went to this.
8 people.
To this escape room. 8 people went to this escape room, and we had a blast. Like I said, I've never been to an escape room before in my entire life, and what was so at the end of the day, what was amazing about this escape room was not only did they have great puzzles and a fun room. One of the activities that you had to do was you found all the pieces of a Nerf gun, and you had to shoot a target that was hiding in the room. And when the target flipped over, it had a code that unlocked a keypad thing. Anyway, not only did it have all that, but with 8 people, every single one of us had a moment where we had an aha moment, and we all solved something that moved the group forward.
Yeah,
you know?
Very teamwork. Like, everyone had solved a piece of the puzzle.
Right, and so everyone walked away from there high-fiving each other. And it was a tough room. I mean, I think we had 5 minutes and 12 seconds left before our hour ran out, and we escaped from the room.
It was exactly 5 minutes and 12 seconds. I remember that.
I was trying to be cool about it, but yeah, it was 5 minutes
Gus,
and 12 seconds.
it was on the chalkboard they gave us for our picture.
Anyway, we all did a piece of it, and it was a great team bonding experience. But it was also, kudos to that room, man. It was badass. Like there were parts of it that
couple
we
standout
got
moments.
stuck on.
Couple standout moments. James and his Nerf gun. He
shooting.
He loaded a dart, pointed right at. It was like, I don't know what, 10 feet away. We'll call it 12.
Yeah.
We'll call it 12.
Yeah.
One shot
with the whiskey margin. We'll call it 12.
Whiskey estimations. Bam! Shoots a target. We get a number. We open a lock. Then we had these glasses. We didn't know where they went to. Right? They were like they were like polarized glasses. So you could I don't know. I think of them as like slits. I don't know how they anyways, they're polarized, and we didn't know where the hell they went to. There were 2 rooms, and we got them in the second room. But what we had to look at.
Wait! I don't want to give it away in case anyone's going there. So, but let's just leave it.
That's
at this.
a cliffhanger.
It unlocked the glasses are the key. The glasses are the key.
All right, now you have to go to Baltimore. Go to City Escape Room. What was it?
Charm
City Escape Room. No, Charm City Clue Room, and
Clue Room.
and do it.
Do the spy room.
Wait, if you do
glasses
this,
is the key.
all right. If you do this and beat our 5 minutes and 12 seconds, we'll send you something free.
Done.
Yeah, we'll send them. Yeah.
Done.
So so it's so worth like a T-shirt to fly to Baltimore. Pay $30 to do an escape room for an hour. If you live in Baltimore, hey, it's cheaper.
Hey, look! If you have all the Southwest points and you just want to just blow them all on a great clue room, fly to Baltimore.
We should do a Monday Club in escape room. That would be crazy. Or before and after. No, I don't know. You see where you're looking at me blankly. I can't read his face. I don't know if my Skype is frozen or if he thinks I'm crazy.
Dude, we only had 5 minutes and 12 seconds, and we were actually trying.
We could be mic'd, and we could... I don't know if that probably would not be entertaining to hear us figure out clues to an escape room.
Probably not. But maybe we'll just
we
get
should
a
do
video
it anyways.
Yeah, probably. Hey, so you said there was a couple of standout moments. We got the glasses
dart and
the dart. The other standout moment to me was there was a black light involved, and that was badass to me.
Yeah, because you see invisible stuff.
Yeah,
normally invisible. Yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
Yeah,
and batteries.
It was pretty cool.
Oh, I've said too much. I said too much.
We'll edit that out.
Yeah.
No, we won't.
But Baltimore was cool. That was the first time I always fly into Baltimore and use that as a connection because I'm a Southwest guy. I think like yourself, and so I'm I'm on the East Coast, so I'm constantly flying through Baltimore. But I've never really spent time in the inner harbor of Baltimore. And at first glance, it was really cool. I was really happy with it. It was right on the water, beautiful day, lots of cool places to go. And it was good. I would give it a solid review. But you know what? And I think you started telling me about an experience you had about wait service, hospitality service You know,
God.
it seemed like every restaurant we went to, it took like an hour to get food or drinks or whatever. It's like, I don't know if they trained. Like, I was a busboy, I was a waiter, so I come from this culture of hospitality and being the bitch of the restaurant, and like it was just so slow and poor. Like, no one cared. I don't know if they've never have seen this many people in their lives before, but it was pretty. I started just going to like Jimmy John's to get, or like the salad place that would just be quick and grab something, because I did not want to sit down at a restaurant.
Let me just say, first and foremost, people of Baltimore, I love you, all right? I truly, truly love you. Downtown Baltimore was awful. It was just awful for this convention, all right? I waited 4 hours for a meal.
Wait a second. Let's see.
I waited 4 hours for a meal at the Hard Rock Cafe.
And that's like a chain that should have like systems in place, right?
Yeah. We waited an hour and a half at Chick-fil-A.
Holy crap.
Right? Right? Yeah, I don't know if they weren't ready for it, but it doesn't make any sense. They've got at least 8 hotels that are in that area and a convention center that's in that area. Like, there's no excuse for not being ready for a
people.
Large number of people. In fact, you and I ended up at a pizza restaurant. Do you remember this?
Yes.
We were in Baltimore. We ended up at a pizza restaurant. We showed up. I'm going to say we showed up at 7:15. While we're waiting in line at 7:30, they closed the restaurant. They said they just started kicking everyone who was walking in through the front door out. They were like, "We're closed. We're closed. We're closed."
Did they just not want to serve people, or
they were out of they were out of tomatoes. They were out of they were out of like sauce. They were out of dough. They were out of everything, right? But not only that, like, we left and we looked at their we looked at their hours, their posted hours that they were open. They were scheduled to be open until 10 p.m. So,
oh my god,
they just, you remember that? They were just done. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what happened there, but it was ridiculous.
Yeah, ditto. It started out so good. Yeah. But
what else did you do in Baltimore? Did you do anything else fun in Baltimore?
Everything I did fun, I think, was with you. We did food.
Fitting.
We did drinking. We did escape room. We recorded our first Monday Club in your hotel room.
That's pretty cool.
What else did? Yeah, that was about it. I usually like to get to a movie, but did not get out to a movie this time. Yeah, that was about it. But I had a show. Go for it.
I went to the Pop Culture Museum that's there, and it was awesome. I went with mind reader Eric Dittelman. He was on America's Got Talent. Do you remember him? Do you know him?
I know him, yeah. He's a buddy of mine, too. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
You only know famous people? Is that how it goes?
No. Anyway,
I don't know. I think I might be better friends with him.
I doubt it. No, he has my name tattooed on the back left shoulder. Yeah, it's all right. Anyway, Dittelman James and I went to the Pop Culture Museum, and it was amazing. They had like 6 or 8 rooms. I don't remember, but we'll call it 6 rooms that each had different exhibits. And the first room had comic books from, beginning of comic books through current day comic books, right? So they had Spider-Man #1, Batman #1, Superman #1, Wonder Woman #1, Spawn #1, like all of these things, just all through this exhibit that you could look at them under glass. And they had Dick Tracy's and all of this stuff, and then they had, in another room, they had like all of this Star Wars memorabilia and Star Trek memorabilia and Lone Ranger memorabilia, like
Nice.
all of this stuff, right? And what was crazy about it is, when we were in there, it was the closest thing. I know this is going to sound weird, but it was the closest thing to a time machine that I've ever been into in my life. Because, they had what's his name? Bozo the Clown, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They had Bozo the Clown's original wig there.
Huh.
And
was this like?
And they had.
Was it like in a back room of someplace, or was it like a legit like?
It's like a legit place. It's right next to the baseball stadium in Baltimore. And what was great, like I said, it was the closest thing to a time machine I've ever been to. I was thinking about it, and man, like without context, you wouldn't appreciate or understand any of that. Or you'd look at it and be like, well, all of this stuff here is racist or sexist or whatever. But knowing what it was like at the time was really amazing. Like, it was really, really amazing, And you can't... None of that stuff will ever exist again. Like, Lone Ranger...
Sorry.
Hold up. So, like, the Lone Ranger set that you could get, or that they displayed, was a leather gun belt with these ivory-handled guns, and,
cap
the gun belt...
Or like from the show.
But, no, like cap guns, like what kids could buy.
Cool.
But, I'll tell you, if you, Pete, were to walk around the city of Baltimore wearing this thing, you would get shot within the first 5 minutes. Like, those things, that world doesn't exist anymore,
Yeah.
The world where kids can walk around, with these reproduction-looking guns. It just doesn't exist anymore, and it was amazing, man. It really was. It was crazy.
That's awesome. What is the most sexist or racist thing you saw then?
They had one of the original Auntie Jemima pancake syrup.
Yeah.
Advertisings there. I took a picture. I'll post that on Monday Club.
All right.
Oh my God! It was. Looking at it from today's standards, it's like the NAACP would shut that place down. You know what I'm saying?
It was like, what is it, like woman in the kitchen serving pancakes type thing?
But looking non-human. It was crazy, But and they had like stuff from World War I, World War II that was, they depicted Japanese Americans as just these non-human entities. It was very, very racist, but it's only racist from our point of view now. Looking back on it, you have to have the understanding and the perspective of where it was back in time, And I came home and I was talking about this with a friend, and they were talking, and they're like, there's no time in American history where African Americans would want to get in a time machine and go backwards in time.
Yeah.
Like, what a weird concept, right?
Yeah, like the good old days aren't
so good.
Not so good.
and so it's just it really was. It was a powerful moment for me to see all of that. All of, I don't know, humanity or whatever being represented from back in the day through pop culture, and then bring it up to current times where you see, I don't know, Star Trek or whatever, or superheroes as modern day characters, where they've transitioned from what we look at as crazy racist to modern day where, Green Lantern's black and all of that stuff. It was cool, man. I really had a good time. So if you're in Baltimore, you have a chance to go to the Pop Culture Museum, I highly recommend it. It's awesome.
Nice. I'll have to go there next time.
Yeah, it's cool.
Nice. Yeah, so I was in, so I left, it was weird. I had a show in Maryland on Thursday and left Baltimore on Wednesday after this convention thing, and I went home for a few hours to take my kid to the doctor, make dinner,
always fun, yeah.
Put him to bed. You get to see him for a few minutes, and then I had an early flight in the morning, and that was that night. That Thursday was when I was staying by the airport, and we were texting till midnight, which we were talking about earlier. Texting till midnight, talking about Monday Club, And then finally, towards the end of the night, I'm like, Gus, are you in Baltimore? He's like, yes. He's like, I'm at the La Quinta. I'm like, I'm across the street from you. And
that's a true story. We were quite literally, we were, what would you say? 400 yards away from each other.
Yeah.
And we had a full on meeting. We were, IMing, texting, Skyping.
IMing? What century are you from?
Hey, look, man. I still remember like AOL Online. Like,
do you remember the?
Yeah, all of that
AIM?
stuff, man.
Oh, that was a thing. AIM.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that if you didn't have an AIM account, you weren't cool.
Look, I'm telling you, these kids right now are spoiled. My son is 8 years old. He's never lived in a world where you couldn't do video chat, and that's I'm sorry, but I came from a world where you had to log in on a modem, a dial-up modem.
Same here. Do you remember BBSs? Did you were ever part of that? I remember in high school.
Well,
this is like before internet was popular. Like you could get on the internet, but you had to go to the library of the school during internet hours, unless you were rich and had internet that actually worked. And
right.
So you would dial in, and there would just be servers put on by these local tech people that like doing this stuff, and you could play text-based games, and you could upload pictures and chat,
my God.
And it was just like a local.
Yes.
It was like a local internet, and I remember doing that. And I remember it was so weird. There's this role-playing game about. This is gonna let my geek flag fly freely now. There was this game about I don't know. It was like Dragon's Lair or something. I don't even know. And this is where I lost my virtual cherry. Popped my virtual cherry. So you're playing a role-playing game, and in the game you're allowed to spend the night with another player in the game, and it doesn't mean anything. You just go and you spend the night with them, and then you get experience points or something like that. This was in 8th grade, if I think, and so.
God.
And I remember being all nervous about it too. And I didn't. Obviously, you have handles that nobody knows about. So I spent the night with some. I don't remember the handle, obviously. But then the next day at school, I was trying to figure out who the girl was.
Right. It turned out to be some 45-year-old trucker named Bob.
That was funny.
Oh my God.
8th grade.
Oh, 8th grade. I'm sure that same kind of stuff happened to me, man. And what you don't really understand living in current times is, do you remember when you tried to get a picture from somebody that it would just scroll down from the top, and it would take 8 minutes for you to see.
And then you get cut off at minute 6, and then you're like,
right?
damn it!
Oh, damn it!
And you do that 4 times.
God.
Oh man!
Oh, I'm dying. That's so funny. Oh, that's because it's 100% true.
Yeah. And I grew up in Maine, which leads us to our next thing. What we want to talk about. I grew up in Maine. I live in Maine now. Dude, I'm Segway master. So we want to talk about
Segway master.
The 5 things to do in your city when you're home. What are you want? Well, let's go back and forth. You do one, I'll do one. We'll go back and forth. You start. You live in Austin, Texas, by the way. Gus Davis.
I live in Austin. I'll tell you what. You start.
I'll start.
You start.
Okay.
You dictated the terms.
All
you
right.
start.
My number one thing to do in my city when I'm home: sleep. That's it. I like to sleep lately. If I can get my 8 hours, I feel amazing.
Maine, the home of taking a nap.
The way life should be.
Okay.
No, so
that's fine.
That's kind of a fun one, but it's kind of true. I look forward to.
I'll counter you.
Right.
I'll counter you. All right. So my number one thing to do when you come to Austin is eat.
Nice. These are
and I'll tell you,
3 of the important things of life.
These are the important things. But I'll tell you what, Austin has it's in the top 5. It's in the top 5 of the country of the best food that you will ever have.
Wow.
And
I've had some Austin food.
I've traveled around the country a lot, and I'm telling you, I feel real confident about that. New York, Chicago, L.A., San Francisco, and Austin are in the top 5 of food that you'll ever have in your life. And specifically, if you're planning on coming to Austin, I want you to just take my word, reach out and take my hand, and go to a restaurant called 24. It's a 24-hour diner. One of the chefs was featured on some cooking channel show. They have the best chicken and waffles that you will ever have in your entire life at this place. They have great drinks. They have great their hash is amazing. Their milkshakes are amazing. Go there. Go to a restaurant called Frank. It's downtown. You'll be in the heart of downtown on 6th Street. You'll get the best hot dog that you will ever have in your life. I'm sorry, Chicago. They got you. Just by one, but they got you. And then finish it off at a restaurant called Gordo's, which has gourmet hot dog or gourmet donuts. Gourmet donuts that will be the end. It's like you can if the meteor comes and crashes into Earth right after you had one of these gourmet donuts, you can just smile and be like, it was a good run.
Are you saying this is better than Voodoo in Portland, Oregon? Have you been there?
We have Voodoo donuts here.
Seriously?
And Voodoo, yeah, sure, it's fine. Voodoo's fine, but
Gordo's
if you want, Gordo's is the Super Saiyan version of Voodoo.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, all right. Next time I'm in Austin, you have to take me to one of these 3 places.
I will take you to all of them.
Okay.
I will take you to all of them, and I will relish your being on camera and on mic, and just say, you know what, Gus was right. I should have listened to him. That was the most amazing. Yeah.
That sounds awesome. All right. I'm looking forward to my next Austin trip. This would be delicious.
All right.
Which leads me...
We're 1 for 1.
All right. Leads
it's
me actually perfectly into my next one. Eat lobster rolls at the Crab Shack. So Maine is known for their amazing lobster. Best lobster in the world comes from Maine. And they do it right, man. The Crab Shack one, it's right down in Kennebunkport, right down the road from where I live, a few minutes. It's just this little hut right on the water. You walk up to the window, you order, you get you get your toasted hot dog bun with your with your crab meat and stuff in it, and it's just fresh and delicious. Awesome.
I gotta say, I really
awesome
love lobster. So yeah, that sounds pretty damn good.
Yeah. So I owe you a lobster roll when you're here.
Done. All right. Well, we'll trade. We'll trade nights out on with food, and you give the lobster roll. I'll finish it off with Gordo's, and we'll see how we end up. All right.
Done.
All right. For me, the number 2 thing is going to be. It's the live music capital of the world. Austin's the live music capital of the world, which means that it is impossible for you to walk around downtown without hearing a live band, and not just any, somebody just from their garage playing around. I mean, like, I've walked around and I accidentally walked in on a Snoop Dogg concert.
Seriously?
That's a true story. I was like, hey, what's going around downtown? I was walking around. I turned a corner, and there was a Snoop Dogg concert that was absolutely free for everybody.
Wow, that's crazy.
True story.
Wow.
Yeah. So I have one more quick story about that. Shannon and I we went and got a little bit of pizza. We were downtown. We were in far east Austin, and we were walking back to our car, and there was this giant empty warehouse that was on the side of the street that we heard music coming out of, and there was a bouncer at the front of the door, and she walked up and was like, so what's going on over here? And they said, well, it's a $5 a person entry, and when you go in, we're having an underground art exhibit with live music and free pizza. Oh, also, there are 30 different microbreweries that are represented here that you get a wristband and you get to do free tasting of beer. And I walked up and I said, I'm sorry, for $10, are you saying that we get free pizza, free beer, we get to see an underground art exhibit, and there's live music? And the guy was like, yeah. It's like, please take my $10 bill. I'm gonna make sure it's nice and crisp. Just take it, and we'll go in.
How did they survive so cheap? That's crazy. Whoa.
It was nuts, but it was all these graffiti artists, and they had a live band that was playing, and there were some hip hop groups that were doing breakdancing there, and they had free pizza until the pizza ran out, and there was all these microbreweries that had beer and cider that were there that you just you got your cup and you got to taste everything. Like that
sounds awesome.
Was the most Austin experience to me ever. Yeah,
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Don't find that for $10 around here. Number 3, one of my favorite things to do when I'm home in my city. I don't live in a city, actually. I live in a tiny little town in Maine. All right, so the things, the lobster rolls are actually in the town over from where I live. So there's not much to do in the town I actually live in. But I live on almost pretty much on a river, and one of the coolest things to do, obviously it leads right to the ocean. I live near the ocean. And one of my favorite things is to kayak or boat down the river, not to the river, down the river, and just hang out on the river. There's this place down the river called Picnic Rock. It's this huge rock, and everybody goes there. It's really popular, and you can bring a lunch down there, and you climb up, and you can climb up trees, and then you can jump into the river and swim around. And you do it in the middle. Obviously, you do it in the summer, and people are on blown up air mattresses with their coolers and food, and it's just a fun time to just boat down the river, have some drinks, and swim in the water, and it's awesome. It's pretty cool.
Dude, that sounds amazing. I'll tell you, one thing that I love about everywhere Northeast is that, and East Coast, is that your outdoor life is amazing. You've got hills and forests and rivers and, hiking and all of that stuff. Texas is pretty much flat. It's like it is insanely flat. My wife moved here from
They don't
Richmond,
sell
Virginia.
topographic maps, do they?
No, there's no need. It's like they'll hand you some sandpaper and you go, here you go, it's in Braille. But my wife moved here from Richmond, Virginia, and she is still to this day blown away by the Texas sky, because you can turn your head from left to right, going from top to bottom, left to right, and you can see nothing but this domed blue sky. Whereas when you're in the Northeast, there's trees and stuff blocking that view, so you don't really get a 360 panorama of nothing but domed sky above you.
So what you're telling me is that you can see from one end of the earth to the other? Is that what you're telling me? You can see from one end of the earth to the other? There's nothing to get in your way, so you can see all the way to the edge of the earth where the waterfall is, all the way to the edge of the end of the earth where the polar bears are.
That fucking guy thought the world was flat. Oh my god. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Cool. I'm in. I want to go to Austin.
Yeah, all right. It's fun, man. All right. So yeah, what you just said sounds beautiful. I'll tell you, my number 3 thing to do when you're in Austin, I'm gonna say, is the Austin graffiti wall. So here's the way this works. There is a giant space in Austin that's right underneath. It's on a giant hill. There's a castle on the top of the hill, and I'm gonna call it 5 stories. maybe 4, of space that's nothing but giant concrete walls on different levels that is reserved for people to go out and do graffiti on. And you get everyone from, amateurs to professionals that go out there and do all of this amazing graffiti art on this wall. So it's from top to bottom, 4 or 5 stories covered in graffiti art. And it changes daily. People go out there daily and cover one thing up and change it into something new. So every time you come, it's something different. But what's amazing about it, it's basically a living museum. It's every time you go, it's something completely different, something new, and always topographical. Always about what's happening in the society today, and it's just if you're gonna get a picture, if you fly in, you have 8 hours to be in Austin, go and get your picture at this graffiti wall.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Could I put something on there? Could I?
Yeah.
Could I tag it?
You and I can go out there. We can take a can of spray paint. We can spray paint Monday Club, and we can get our picture there.
Yes. All right. I'm in. That sounds awesome. We're in. All right. Cool. I'm pumped. I get food cool. And I get to vandalize in Austin.
Yeah, food and vandalism. It's great, right?
My number 4, and mine are actually in no particular order, but
okay.
Except for sleep. Number 4, mornings. One of my favorite things to do is to go to Mornings in Paris for coffee and a cinnamon roll. And this, again, is not in my town, but the town over of Kennebunk. And there's this little coffee shop and pastry shop called Mornings in Paris. The woman is actually from Paris. You go up to the counter, the woman who owns it, and she greets you, and she's like, "Oh, bonjour," and she has this very French accent, and this is my French accent, and she greets you, and she's so sweet.
All apologies to our French listeners. We totally apologize for Pete's French accent.
I'm French, bois. But I don't speak French. But it's a cool shop, amazing, delicious coffee. And they have this top 2 cinnamon rolls I've ever had. Gus knows about how much I like cinnamon rolls, and get angry when people steal them from me. That wasn't Gus. So this cinnamon roll is it's like flaky. It's kind of like a croissant-y flaky, and then this really awesome crusty glaze on it. Delicious. Go there, get coffee and cinnamon roll when you're in town.
Done. I'm so there. Cinnamon rolls and coffee sound like the best meal ever.
Yeah, there was a stretch where every weekend, me and my wife would get coffee and cinnamon roll from there, from every week, every weekend. It was awesome.
That sounds really good. All right, my number 4 is There's a strip called South Congress, and Congress, the street of Congress, runs. It's a really long street, but it's a straight shot to the capital of Texas. Okay, now for those of you who don't know anything about Texas, when it became part of the United States, made a couple of important rules for Texas because it was its own country for a few years. So
remember the Alamo.
One rule, remember the Alamo, yo? So one rule is that the Texas flag is the only flag in the Union that's allowed to fly at the same height as the United States flag. We're not going to lower our flag lower than the United States flag. Screw that. We're Texas. So that's one.
Do they still do that? Like at the state capitol and it's all equal? Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. Number 2.
Arrogant bastards.
Oh, absolutely. The number 2, the Texas Capitol is actually larger than the Capitol in Washington, D.C.
Like the building itself?
The building itself.
Wow.
Right? So I say all that to paint the picture of when you're on Congress, you can look straight down Congress because it's exactly straight. You can look straight down Congress from wherever you are and see the state capitol at the very end of the Congress street. So that's pretty cool. but the entire street is, full of amazing food, amazing restaurants, amazing shops. There's a Gurin Brothers hats there that I love. There's, if you have 12 hours to be in Austin, just go to South Congress, walk up and down the street, look at all the crazy people that are there, and stop and eat all the food that's on the side of the road. You won't be sad. So that's my number 4.
Cool. That segues into mine too. Wow, you keep segueing into my picks, man. Number 5
it's
things to do.
It's almost like we planned
it. Mine has to do with the government. So, number 5, one of the most popular things to do in Kennebunkport is go look at President Bush's house. President Bush has a summer house in Kennebunkport, and there's actually a pull-off on the road where you can pull off and just look at his house. I don't know why people want to.
Wait. Let me understand this.
Yeah.
So there's like a scenic overlook that you can just pull off onto to just be like, there it is.
Yep.
That's his house.
Exactly. Yep. And people do it. I mean, it's weird. It's weird too because I think they've owned this property for generations, but it's kind of like a little peninsula into the ocean, so there's no privacy in the outdoor unless they build a huge fence, or wall. But it's just crazy that they're just like they own this little peninsula, and people pull over and just want to look at their house. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, it's weird. But I don't actually like to do this, so this is a little confusing for people. Top things to do when you're in my city. You might want to go look at President Bush's house. I do not do this. I do not just go into Kennebunkport to look at President Bush's house. But you might want to take a selfie with it and be like, "Hey, look, I'm hanging with Bush." And yeah.
How far is it, in real terms? How far is it to drive from your house to this scenic overlook?
Shall I Google
President
Map
Bush's
it?
House? Yeah, do it.
All right, Google Maps.
Because I'm just curious, what if someone were to come to visit you, and you said, "All right, we're going to do all 5 top things." What would it be to get to take a selfie with a summer house of President George Walker Bush?
All right. Google Maps says it is 6.1 miles or 14 minutes.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Okay, cool. I was imagining in my head that it was like an hour and a half round trip for you to go and take
No,
a picture.
he's literally 6.1 miles down the road.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough. Fair enough. All right. My number 5. Pete, I got to ask you a question, okay?
Okay.
The question is this. Do you have time for a 4-minute story?
Do I have time? This is Monday.
Yeah,
this is Saturday for me,
it's
man.
Monday. We're just hanging out.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All
right.
So strap yourselves in, folks. We're in for a doozy.
Strap yourselves in. Here it goes. My number 5 is in Austin under the Congress Bridge. So when you're going to South Congress and you want to just walk up and down, the bridge that goes over our main lake has Mexican free-tailed bats that live under this bridge, okay? Millions of them. And during the summer, people just gather on this bridge at sunset to watch the millions of bats come out and just turn the sky black with, when they come out from underneath this bridge, okay?
When do they come out?
They come out at sunset.
At dusk? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, at dusk, yeah. So that's definitely an attraction for the bats, and it's become a business for lots of different entertainment groups to support people seeing these bats. So they'll have paddle boats that offer food and boats that go under the bridge so you can see the bats from a different angle and all this. All right. I say all that because when I was in 7th grade, my mom worked for the University of Texas, and she came to me in 7th grade and said, hey, I have an opportunity for you to make some extra money. And I was always down to make extra money. She said, all right, here's what you got to do. We're going to go to this costume shop and rent you the most badass Batman costume that we can. Okay? I'm in so far. And your job is to escort couples onto this paddle boat for a University of Texas alumni reunion on this paddle boat, and we're going to eat fajitas and watch the bats go up. Okay? All right. So I got this costume, and I was ready to go, but the only caveat is I had to change into this costume at my middle school. Okay? All right. So...
7th grade? 8th grade?
7th grade.
7th grade.
So at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I go into the bathroom. I change into a perfect replica of the Michael Keaton Batman costume.
Whoa.
You know, all rubber, you know, the head doesn't turn, you know, a leather cape, the boots. I mean, it was period perfect as the Batman costume.
Dude, I would have done it for free just for that costume. That sounds awesome.
I walk out of the bathroom. I'm in our school student center. And this kid that was playing pool at the time looks up at me and says, "Oh, it's Batman!" and goes up to give me a high five. And I reach for the high five, and instead of giving me a high five, he karate kicks me in the nuts.
Oh, what? Oh my god.
Which levels me. I like curl up in a ball and start bawling like a little baby,
what
right?
An asshole.
Right, but here's the thing. He wasn't trying to hurt me. In his brain, I was Batman. And Batman can take anything, you know? Or ninja block whatever comes at him. And he was so sorry. He was like in tears sorry about it. Oh my god, dude, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry. But he ninja kicked me in the nuts. So I crawl away from there. I get into the car. We drive to the bats. I escort people onto this bat viewing boat as Batman. All that goes fine. The next day, I wake up. I try to stand up, and I quite literally can't walk. I'm doubled over. I can't walk.
Oh my god!
Right? I lay in bed for 3 or 4 days. I end up getting dehydrated. They take me to the hospital. I stay in the hospital for 3 or 4 days. At the end of 3 or 4, and while I'm staying in the hospital, I'm telling all the doctors my back hurts. Like I can't stand up. My back hurts. Right? At the end of 4 days, they end up sending in a new doctor. My doctor just quits on me, and they send up a new doctor. New doctor says, all right, let's figure this out. Let's walk it back. And I said, okay. I wake up one day, and I just can't walk. I think it's my back. And they said, nope, it's not your back. We've done MRIs. They did a spinal tap on me, which,
God.
if you can avoid,
painful,
if you can avoid that for the rest, it's, they take a 6-inch needle and shove it into your spinal fluid. It's terrible. They do all of these things. At the end of those days, they didn't find anything. So he's like, "Well, walk me back before that. What happens?" And I think about it, and I say, "Well, I did get kicked in the nuts really, really hard before I went out and did an event." And the guy was like, "All right, well, let's start there." So he sends me in to get a sonogram on my nutsack. Okay? And in typical fashion, I'm in 7th grade, so what is that, like 13
weird?
years old?
Yeah.
Huh.
You know what's weird? I've had a sonogram on my nutsack, too.
Have you really? Oh my god. Then you're going to totally get this next part. So I'm 13 years old.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, the sexiest nurse that I have ever seen in my entire life. I mean, Jessica Rabbit basically walks in a nurse costume and fucking comes in. And if you've had a sonogram in your life, the way that they do sonograms is they take warm gel and massage
They
it.
put some
They
KY jelly on your balls.
They put some hot KY jelly, and she's sitting there massaging my balls, and she's trying to be as professional as possible, right? So she's looking at me, and she's like, look, everything that happens from here, it's very natural, it's okay, don't be embarrassed, it's okay.
She's
right?
preparing for the inevitable of the...
Oh, God, I got when I say a weeping redwood gnarly fucking boner,
Oh my God!
It was the quintessential goddamn fucking rock hard. And what was the worst part? My fucking mom was in the room at the time because I was underage and she had to be there. And she's dying laughing
Your mom
the
is
entire
laughing?
time. My mom's in the room.
And she's laughing at you?
Because she knows exactly what's happening, right? I mean, I'm separated by a sheet, but it's.
Oh my God!
I'm sure I created a shadow puppet show. I mean, it was insane, right?
That must have been so embarrassing. You
was
must have
the
been
worst.
red. You might have been. Oh my God! You must have been on the edge of
the worst.
tears and like.
It was the worst.
Oh
it was
my
the
God.
absolute worst, right? So she does the sonogram or whatever, and she's like, "Well, there's your problem. One of your things is twisted over the other thing." So the doctor comes in and goes, and twists back, and then I basically stood up and walked out of there like it was
my
fine.
God.
Like that was
Did
the
it
end of
hurt,
the story.
the twist back.
Yeah, let's never do that again, right?
Oh my God! Dude.
So all of that
my
stemmed from the stupid goddamn bats that live in Austin under the bridge with me dressed up as Batman.
Oh my God! Oh, that's got to be one of my favorite stories of all time. Oh man! Wow, that is the embarrassment. Oh my God! I couldn't even imagine.
No, man. It was, it's time plus tragedy equals comedy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So I've gotten over it. I've gotten
yeah.
through it.
But
I've worked through it.
I'm
with
just
my
thinking my
therapist, but-
7th grade brain, like how awful that it would have been. I'm so glad that happened, though. That's so funny. I'm so glad your ball was all right too. That's.
Hey man, thanks, buddy. Thanks. Yeah, no Lance Armstrong over here. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
you
good.
got a kid, so all's working well.
Yeah. It's all works. It all works.
Yeah. Wow, man. I don't know if we can top that story. I think we might have to skip over our quote unquote regular new segment called Teachable Moments. I think we can't top that.
We'll
save
so
it for
many
next
kids.
week.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Save
Sounds
the
like
next
a plan.
teachable moments. That's going to be our running. We'll promise we'll get it in next week.
All right.
cannot outdo boner, sonogram, KY jelly, and bats. I don't know how that all fits into one
scene.
Man. Wow.
All right. Well, Monday Club out, man. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Oh, you already killed your drink. That's
it's
right.
been gone for a while. Thank you for listening. Make sure go to Monday Club Podcast for everything. All our socials there. Facebook.com/Monday Club Podcast. Twitter @Monday Club Pod. Instagram @Monday Club Podcast. Email us questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, anything you want. You can talk to us through mondayclubpodcast@gmail.com. And Gus has been awesome. Happy Monday, bro.
Happy Monday, bro. Good to see you, bro.
You too, man. That was good, man.
Hey, man! Monday!
I can't believe you got a boner from a doctor. That was awesome.